Hey guys, I'm back with another really easy tutorial. This is the skirt that I wore on day one of London Fashion Week, and it is basically a skirt I got in a charity shop that my mom works in, and I think it was only like €2. So it's just a hound's print, quite long pencil skirt, and it's really easy to DIY. You're going to need some tailor's chalk or just some random chalk like I have here. So I've actually gone ahead and ripped out the lining that was on the skirt because it was really cheap and horrible feeling, and the fabric itself was quite nice. So I've turned it inside out and put the skirt on inside out, and I've taken my chalk and I'm roughly going to mark where my crotch is, quite awkwardly might I add, and then mark a line about 2-3 inches lower than my crotch, and this is where the top of our circle or our semicircle is going to be at. So it's just going to serve as a guideline, really, not to kind of pass it because we don't want to come too close to our crotch when the skirt is actually on. And basically I'm going to take it off and pop it on a counter or your work surface, and this is kind of the skirt as it was on me but flattened out, and you can see where I've marked the top of the circle, which we are going to use later. But first I'm going to do a little bit more, I suppose, tailoring to this skirt. It's a little bit wide on the bottom for me, so I'm going to flatten it out, take my chalk again, and just draw a tapered line about 2 inches, maybe 1.5 inches from the bottom of the skirt towards the kind of the top middle of the skirt. And when I sew this in a straight line later on, like you'll see, this will just give the skirt a little bit more, I don't know, shape and fit me a little bit better. But we're going to leave that for later. You can do to the two sides if you want to do that, it's optional. But for now I'm going to take my chalk again and basically draw a guideline for the circle part of my skirt. Try and get it even on the both sides. Come in about 2 inches from the edges of the skirt and draw your circle. My circle went up a little bit higher than my initial guideline marking line, but that's okay, I'll show you why later. And now I'm doing a second line under that line, about 1 inch down from it, 1.5 centimeters down from it, and this is going to be the line that we'll actually cut. So this, the first line was the guideline, and now this line is going to be a little bit lower, and this will be the line that we're actually going to cut. So now that we've got the second line marked out, I'm going to go ahead and cut it along the inside of it, and I'm just going to go all the way along till it's all cut out. Now that it's all cut out, I'm going to mark some strikes with my little piece of chalk, especially on the curved bits. You can do more if you like, but I just found 5 was enough. And as you can see, I'm just marking down from the top outer line to where I actually cut. And I suppose you can call them, I think they're called notches, but yeah, you can just mark those along. I've done about 5, and I've done them a little bit tighter on the bits that are more curved. This will just make the seam a little bit flatter when we go to sew it all, and you won't get any bunches or kind of bumpy looking bits. And then we're going to take a scissors and just cut those right under the previous line. We're not going to go past the first line, we're just kind of going to cut under it. I'm just doing this to the second one, the third one, and obviously all the way to the 5th one. And as you can see here, I'm doing a little demonstration of how these little folds or flaps will be folded back and really smoothly, so that when you sew them they'll lie flat and they won't kind of bunch up on you, and they'll just look really professional. So now that we have all that done, it's time to move on to the next part. As you can see, I have the previous line marked on the other side for where I'm taking in the skirt a little bit. Like I said, not everyone will have to do this, but this particular skirt was a little bit big on the bottom for me. Just make sure that the line that you've cut doesn't actually hit up against the front curve, because you don't want the seams kind of overlapping, if that makes any sense to anyone. But if you want to keep it simple, just don't bother taking in the skirt, just get a good skirt that fits you already. And now I'm popping it onto my sewing machine, and as you can see, I'm folding back the flaps and just sewing them along in a straight line. You can do this by hand, it's really easy by hand. This fabric, because it's thick, it will hold a stitch or wide stitch by hand really well, and it'll only take you all about 5 minutes. So I'm just doing a straight simple stitch and following the curve while bending back the flaps all the way around. Now that I've done my curve, I'm going to go back and do that bit that I tailored earlier with my bit of chalk. I'm just going to do a straight seam like that from the bottom of the skirt all the way down the line to where I finished marking it off about the top midsection of the skirt. So now the skirt is done. As you can see, it's a bit I don't know, not really lying flat, but all you have to do is give that an iron from the inside out, iron on the underside of it, and that will completely flatten it out, which is what I did before I left. But I've just put it on here as a little demonstration before I ironed it, and And yeah, that's it guys. Please thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it. I'd love to know if you did, and as well if you'd like to know how to do the top that I was wearing at the start of the video with the skirt, then there's another DIY for that. All you have to do is click the screen right now and I'll take you into that tutorial, and I really hope you enjoy that one too. I'll see you in my next video guys. Hope you've all had a nice day. Bye!